Hello everybody, it's Marika here from Lake House Vlogs and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how we started to introduce studying poetry here in the Lake House Homeschool. So as you would have seen in my previous homeschool video, I was talking about how we're starting to use the Charlotte Mason method in our homeschool. And one of the things that Charlotte Mason recommended was enrichment studies. And so providing a whole feast of things for our children to study, including studying poetry, studying artists and composers and things like that. And so one of the very first things that we introduced when we were moving towards more of a Charlotte Mason theme in our homeschool, theme, style, method, whatever it is, the first thing that I started with was looking at poetry. And I'm just going to share with you quickly how we did that. So simply, Charlotte Mason has lots of resources and things like that for this kind of stuff. But being here in Australia, getting things shipped or printed off can be difficult. So what I did is I just hopped on their website and kind of looked at the poets that they had available and just hit up my local library to see if I could find a book there first before I went and purchased anything. I just wanted to see if my children enjoyed this kind of thing before I started investing any money into any more resources. And so local libraries, if you know, get yourself a library card, use your libraries. They have so many things there, and what I like to do is look at some things there, use those, and if we really enjoy them and I feel like I'd like to have my own kind of copy, then I will go and purchase from there. I find with our library is that my books are always overdue and I want them for longer than the kind of borrow time, and it just becomes super frustrating. But before I purchase anything, I kind of start at my library. So I went to my local library and I found this poetry book on Emily Dickinson, and this is called Poetry for Young Children and just Emily Dickinson, and this book is actually excellent. I would go and purchase this book, and I think I will, because I think I've renewed this about 3 times and we're still using it. So I will study Emily Dickinson probably for about 10 to 12 weeks is what it is recommended. And the thing that is really great about this book is at the beginning of the book it has a biography about Emily Dickinson. So that's it's quite long, the biography, and so we were reading this in small chunks to the children. It even has a proper photograph of her there. So what a lesson would look like is I would grab my book out, we would read through a short section of her biography. So I would read a short section to them, and then the children would narrate back to me what it is that I have just read to them in their own words. And then when we come back the next time to read another section from her from the biography, before I read, they will briefly tell me what it is we learnt last time about Emily Dickinson. Then I would read to them another chunk of her biography, and then they would narrate back that section that I just read to them. So the front section of this book is a biography about Emily Dickinson, and then it hops straight into her poems, which are actually beautifully illustrated as well. I recommend, if you haven't started studying poetry yet, that Emily Dickinson is actually a really great place to start for children. What I also love about this book is when they in the biography section and they're talking about different parts of her life, she would write, of course, poetry from different parts of her life. And so as they're explaining that in the biography, it references the poem and what page it is on the book. So you can read the section in the biography and then go and find the poem that they were talking about. And so that's why I really, really, really love that book. So each week, just once a week for just about 10 minutes at a time, we would study Emily Dickinson. So first I would get out the book and we would start with the biography. First the children would just narrate to me what it is that we learnt last time about Emily Dickinson. I'd read them a short section from her biography, and then they would narrate what they just heard in their own words about her. Then we would choose a poem to read. So I would either read the poem aloud to the children and we can discuss it. What did they think the poem's about? Did they enjoy it? What kind of imagery came to mind when I was reading it? Or my older son might choose a poem and read that aloud and go through the same kind of questions. And sometimes we would I would read a poem, and then this book does have illustrations, so I would read the poem, but I wouldn't show them the illustrations that went with the poem. Instead, I would then get them to draw or paint the images that came to mind when we were reading one of the poems. Over several weeks of doing this, we might talk about what has been our favourite poem by Emily Dickinson that we have read. We might share why we liked it. We might share a poem that didn't interest us so much and what was it about it, and often the children would say it was a bit confusing or it was too long and things like that. And then occasionally we would also do some kind of notebooking page with that. So we did a notebooking page when we were reading about her biography, so the children just drew a portrait of Emily Dickinson and just wrote down some facts about her. We also added Emily Dickinson into our Book of Centuries. I haven't done a video on our Book of Centuries yet, but I will do that one and tell you all about that. And as I said, we would illustrate pictures in our art notebooks as well, and we would sometimes choose one of her poems to use as our dictation piece or our handwriting piece, and the children would write those in their art notebooks as well. So really easy to study a poet. That was just 10 minutes once a week doing those things, and we would just do Emily Dickinson for about 10 to 12 weeks, and when we have finished with that, we will pick another poet to move on to. So it is super easy to add these things into your homeschool day. At first I was a little like, oh, I'm not sure how to do that, but as I read what other people were doing or watched other YouTube videos, I really did discover, hey, this is actually super easy to include poetry into our homeschool day. So I will leave this book linked down below for you if you're interested in having a look at that book yourself. Thank you so much for watching my video today. If you have any questions about homeschool, the Charlotte Mason method, or including poetry into your homeschool, I would love to answer your questions and start a conversation with you, so please leave a comment down below. Again, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you next time. Bye!